Beloved child, I was already there when it ended, when the text arrived at midnight that said, "I can't do this anymore." I was there in the unsent replies and the shaking breath, when the door of that job closed with an email and a subject line you will never forget. I stood in the hallway your managers could not see, when the friend you trusted began to drift in quiet distance, when betrayal unraveled what you thought was woven for life. I was not late to the scene, not looking for you from far away. I go before you into every room and every season. I walk beside you when your knees feel weak and your voice cannot hold steady. I stand behind you as a shield where shame tries to surge and accuse. You were not alone in the ending. You are not alone now. My child, hear me. What you called an ending, I call a repositioning held within my presence. This is not punishment, it is redirection, not rejection. It is holy repositioning, not failure. It is guidance taking form in a way you did not prefer, yet a way that protects what I planted in you from the beginning. I know you have searched your memories for what you did wrong, measured your worth by who stayed or who left, counted the cost of words spoken and unspoken, and you have wondered if I have turned my face away. I have not. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. So breathe, beloved. I am not accusing you. I am attending to you. You say, but it ended. Yes, and I was already at the threshold as it closed, guiding your feet away from what would have constricted your becoming, guarding the seed I've buried in your life from being choked by soils that cannot hold its root. You feel the ache of separation. I feel it with you, and within the ache I am widening your capacity to recognize me, my whispers, not the world's noise. I do not shout above the noise. I whisper within the quiet. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46. Beloved, for you, yes, you with the unanswered questions, the one replaying conversations, the one who has not slept through a night in weeks. Let me say it plainly, closure is not condemnation. The closing of a chapter is not the closing of my heart toward you. When a plotline concludes, the author is not finished. The author is free to turn the page. I am the author. You are my story. You are not the product of chance. You are an intention shaped from eternity. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Jeremiah 1:5. I have called you by name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. I know you want the entire map spread out before you, lines drawn, milestones circled, detours explained with tidy arrows. Hear me. I rarely hand you the map. I put a lamp in your hand. My word is a lamp to your feet and a light to your path. Psalm 119:105. A lamp does not flood the whole road. It honors the next step. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. Trust me and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. The light I give is proportioned to your obedience. As you step, more light will meet you. As you move, the way will rise to greet your feet. I have been quietly arranging what you call coincidence, a conversation you did not expect, a nudge you could not ignore, a restlessness that would not let you settle for a lesser name than the one I have spoken over you. You are not being led by chaos. You are being guided within a purposeful plan. All things work together for good to those who love me, to those called according to my purpose. Romans 8:28. The meetings that seemed random, the timing that seemed inconvenient, the door that closed, all of it is being woven into a symphony you will recognize when more of the notes have been played. My beloved, I place my hand upon your shoulder the way a good father steadies a child learning to walk. Look at me. Do not let shame or panic narrate this moment. Where you see end, I see entrance. Where you see loss, I see room made for the next provision. Where you see delay, I see design. You are not being consumed in the fire. You are being refined to carry what I intend to entrust to you. Do not let fear tell you that you must prove yourself before I guide you. I guide because you are mine, not because you perform. My power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. Stay with me now. Stay through the questions that will surface as I name the wound and break the lie that closure equals condemnation. Stay as I reframe your ending through the lens of a calling that begins with a simple word I once spoke to Abram: go. Genesis 12:1. You do not yet need to know where every mile will lead. You need only the courage to receive what I am saying now. Take the lamp, hold my hand. Let your yes be enough for this moment. Beloved child, I was already there when it ended. I am here now as you breathe through the ache. I will be ahead of you where the path bends beyond what you can see. I go before you. I walk beside you. I stand behind you. Lift your eyes from the closed door long enough to notice the open hand extended to you. I am not asking you for perfection. I am inviting you into trust. And as you remain with me in this, you will discover that what felt like the collapse of your story was the quiet turning of a page in my presence, and I am writing still. Beloved child, now let me place words to the ache you have been carrying in secret so it stops ruling you by a nameless weight. You have thought, I must have failed. You have whispered into your pillow, God is disappointed with me. You have measured yourself by someone else's timeline and concluded, I'm behind. You have looked into the mirror and felt unworthy to ask, unworthy to hope, unworthy to try again. Hear me, I see the tears you did not want anyone to witness, the conversations you rehearsed to find where you might have rescued it, the heaviness that settles when the house is quiet and you are left alone with your thoughts. I do not dismiss this grief. I do not rush you past it. I am not impatient with your questions or your trembling, but I will not let the lie sit on the throne of your heart. Closure is not my condemnation. It is my invitation to trust me beyond what you can explain. You say, if I had done better, they would have stayed. If I had prayed harder, the door would have remained open. If I were more spiritual, I would have seen this coming. Beloved, listen to me. You are not the custodian of all outcomes. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but I establish the steps. Proverbs 16:9. The end of a chapter is not a verdict on your worth. It is a pivot in a story I am still authoring. Where you feel exposed, I cover. Where you assume blame, I provide wisdom and kindness that do not crush you. I am a father who disciplines with purpose, but this is not punishment. This is protection. This is positioning. This is me turning your face away from what would have kept you small. You feel abandoned, yet I am nearest to the broken places, the ones you try to hide, the ones you think disqualify you from joy. You feel disqualified, yet I refine what I will use. I reserve the right to take what is chipped and make it a chalice. You feel late, yet I am the Lord of appointed times, and I am not bound to the clocks that mock you. You feel unworthy, yet I have already named you mine, and worth comes from my choosing, not your perfection. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Jeremiah 1:5. Do not let the adversary narrate your ending as evidence against your identity. Let my voice, steady and familiar, gather you back to truth. I go before you. I walk beside you. I stand behind you. Beloved, you long for an explanation because explanations feel like control. But I have not designed faith to bow to control. I do not require you to understand everything. I call you to trust and to move forward. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. Understanding will come, and when it comes, it will be gentler than you fear and truer than you can construct in your own strength. But understanding is not the prerequisite for obedience. Love is, and love is, what binds your hand to mine when the night is deep and the path is thin. Feel my hand now, steady on your shoulder in the dark, not pushing you, not dragging you, but anchoring you. Hear how my breathing does not quicken with anxiety. Sense how my step does not fumble. I do not shout above the noise. I whisper within the quiet. Be still long enough to notice that you are not falling. You are being held. The accusations that rise like a chorus. You failed, you disappointed, you are behind. Do not come from me. I do not shame you into movement. I invite you by name. You have wondered, if you were pleased with me, why did you allow it to close? Beloved, some doors close because they are complete. Some close because they would have corroded your calling from the inside. Some close because the season required different provision for the journey ahead. And some close because I am answering prayers you forgot you prayed. Prayers to be useful, to be whole, to be aligned with my will. You are not being led by chaos. You are being guided within a purposeful plan. Romans 8:28. The closure you fear is a boundary I placed so that the river of your life would not spill into a floodplain that drowns your joy. Remember this, I am not embarrassed by your weakness. My power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. So when you catalog your shortcomings as proof of disfavor, you are counting the very places where I intend to pour strength. Where you see lack, I see a doorway. Where you see delay, I see design. Where you see the end of your relevance, I see the beginning of your clarity. Do not let the metrics of comparison dictate the weather in your soul. You are not behind. You are on the route I have set, and even the detours are gathering wisdom you will need to shepherd others. Beloved child, ask me your questions. I am not fragile. Cry your tears. I will count every one. But as you cry, let your tears water trust, not suspicion. Let the ache become an altar, not a prison. I am teaching you to live by a different sight. My word is a lamp to your feet and a light to your path. Psalm 119:105. A lamp will not flatter your need to master every turn. It will honor your need to take the next faithful step. Take it, even if your voice shakes. Even if you cannot explain it to those who prefer spreadsheets of certainty. I am your certainty. I will meet you in motion. Do not interpret my quiet as absence. I often whisper because I am so near your ear. Do not confuse pruning with rejection. I prune fruitful branches to make more room for fruit. John 15. Do not mistake a pause for a period. I punctuate with purpose. And do not call yourself names I have never spoken over you. You are not a disappointment. You are not an afterthought. You are not a burden for me to carry. You are the joy set before me as I carry you. I know you rehearse the if-onlys to stay safe from hope, to protect yourself from trying again. But hope in me does not shame you. Hope tethered to my character will not make you a fool. As it is written, those who hope in me will not be put to shame. Isaiah 49. Release the script that says you must atone for outcomes. My son has already borne what you could never carry. What remains for you is trust expressed in simple obedience, not perfect performance, not flawless plans, just your yes, honest and small, if need be. Beloved, let me say it again so your heart can begin to sing it back to me. Closure is not my condemnation. It is my invitation into a deeper trust, a steadier walk, a clearer hearing. I go before you into the rooms you cannot imagine yet. I walk beside you as you take this next step with your lamp. I stand behind you, guarding you from the arrows of accusation and the echo of old lies. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not alone. Take my hand. Lean into my shoulder. Trust me beyond what you can explain, and you will find that the place you feared was the end has become the doorway into a love that will not let you go. Beloved child, listen to me now as I place a lamp over the path you are afraid to take. As it is written, go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. Genesis 12:1. Hear the weight and the tenderness bound in that single word, go. Not fully explained, not mapped with certainty, not padded by a familiar chorus of approval, a holy disruption that begins a calling. I spoke to Abram and I asked him to leave the once secure soil that taught him his first words, to walk away from the house that shaped his habits, to loosen his grip from the names and systems that told him who he was. I did not hand him a tour itinerary. I did not show him the whole horizon. I gave him a word and a direction, and I placed my presence as his compass. Do you see the pattern woven there, beloved? Departure precedes discovery. Obedience opens what clarity cannot. Where you crave guarantees, I offer guidance. Where you yearn for proof, I provide promise. I go before you where maps cannot. I walk beside you when the road is narrow. I stand behind you when the old voices try to pull you back. The ending you grieve is not a punishment. It is the echo of that same word moving through your life now. Go, not as loss for loss's sake, but as alignment with a covenant I have spoken over you. I am turning your face from what would have shrunk your soul to fit a smaller container. I am inviting you to step into a name you cannot earn and a future you cannot orchestrate. Consider Abram's heart, child. Imagine the silence of a house once full of known laughter. Feel the tremor in the hand packing what could be carried, leaving behind what could not. Smell the dust rising as old neighbors watched and whispered their opinions. Hear his questions in the night. What will we eat there? Who will we be there? How will I explain this to those who cherish common sense more than covenant? There was grief in the going. There was unspoken ache at the thought of leaving kin and customs, and the comfort of being understood. And yet, he went. By faith, Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to a place he would receive as an inheritance. He went, not knowing where he was going. Hebrews 11:8. He did not go because he mastered every variable. He went because my voice was enough to move his feet. So it is with you. You ask me for a guarantee, but I am giving you a guide. You ask me to protect your reputation, but I am protecting your calling. You ask me to let you hold what is ending a little longer, but I am loosening your fingers so your hands can receive what is coming. Do not call this cruelty, call it covenant. I blessed Abraham to be a blessing. I am shaping you the same way. I will bless you, and you will be a blessing. Genesis 12:2-3. The blessing you long to carry cannot be contained by the room that just closed. There is a land I will show you, a work I will reveal, a people I will entrust, a clarity that will bloom only after you have stepped through this threshold. The lamp does not hum until it meets the next footfall. The river does not part until the souls touch the water. The provision you want to see in advance is timed to obedience, not to anxiety. Hear me. I do not minimize the ache. I see the keepsakes of the season that just concluded, the inside jokes, the desk key, the routes you drove without thinking, the routines that made you feel competent, the roles that made you feel wanted. I know how endings can make your stomach drop and your mind scramble for a culprit, even if the culprit becomes you. But, beloved, this is a holy disruption, not a hostile verdict. I am not ripping you from belonging. I am relocating your roots to a wider field. Uprooting feels like exposure, but it is the first motion of transplanting. You are not being torn apart. You are being replanted to flourish. Those who are planted by rivers bear fruit in season. Psalm 1. When Abraham left, identity released its dependence on surroundings and reattached to my voice. So it is with you. I am severing the cords that tied your worth to places, to roles, to responses from others that rose and fell like weather. I am fastening your worth to my choosing. You did not choose me, I chose you and appointed you. John 15:16. Child, the name I am speaking over you will not fit within the metrics of who approved you then. That is why I am calling you out, not to isolate you, but to incubate you, not to punish you, but to prepare capacity within you for what I am about to entrust. You are not the product of chance. You are an intention shaped from eternity, and I am conducting the precise timing of your steps. Let me speak plainly to your fear. Where are we going, you ask? To the land I will show you, not the land you will show yourself, not the land others can evaluate and applaud in advance. The land I will show you, revealed in stages, brightened as you move, confirmed by peace that does not always please the crowd. My word is a lamp to your feet, not a floodlight to the horizon. Psalm 119:105. I give you enough to trust me today. Tomorrow will meet you with tomorrow's light. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. Take the next step. If that step is a phone call you fear, take it. If that step is releasing a key, release it. If that step is walking into a quiet morning without the old title to introduce you, walk anyway. I will meet you there. Do not wait for fear to vanish before you obey. Fear often lingers at the border of every promised place. It is not the absence of trembling that proves faith. It is the movement of your foot in the direction of my word. When Abraham stepped into the unknown, I turned the unknown into a known inheritance. I will do the same with you. Where you see risk, I see a route. Where you see blank space, I see a blueprint. Where you see the end, I see the bend. I go before you, I walk beside you, I stand behind you. The winds that rattle your courage are not stronger than the hand that steadies your shoulder. Beloved child, adopt the pattern, and you will find peace rising where panic tried to settle. Let the leaving be worship. Let the unanswered questions be the incense of trust. Build altars of gratitude even while you are still journeying, like Abram did when he paused to mark my faithfulness with stones and thanks, not because you see everything yet, but because you know me. As it is written, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. Understanding will catch up to obedience. Clarity will follow courage. Provision will flow toward purpose. And as you step, do not rewrite this as a story of isolation. You are not being sent away. You are being sent ahead. There are lives on the other side of this yes. There is a future version of you who can carry comfort for others, forged in the very hallway you are walking now. The covenant I initiated with Abraham was not a private improvement plan. It was a channel of blessing to many. So it is with you. Your obedience will open doors for people you have not yet met, will break patterns in families you do not yet know, will plant seeds that will outlive your explanations. Take my hand. Breathe. Do not try to pack everything from yesterday into tomorrow's bag. Release what does not belong on this leg of the journey. Keep the lamp. Keep the promise. Keep your yes. There is no need to rush. No need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. Step forward, beloved, even if your voice shakes. I will show you the land. I will form your name within my own. I will bless and make you a blessing. The word that closed a door is the same word that is opening a way. Go. And as you go, remember, obedience opens what clarity cannot, and I am with you in every step you take. Beloved child, let me tell you what I was doing when the hinge tightened and the door clicked shut. I was guarding what I planted in you from being siphoned, shrunk, and slowly starved. The door that closed was mercy, not abandonment, but rescue. Not loss, but release. Not demotion, but direction. Not humiliation, but healing. Not rejection, but redirection. I stood at the threshold you tried to hold open with explanations, and with a father's wisdom, I set a boundary for your becoming. You saw interruption, I saw an interception. You felt pulled away, I was pulling you through. I watched the way your identity began to braid itself with a relationship's approval, how your sense of worth rose and fell on the tides of another's mood. I watched the way your peace depended on a title etched on a door, and how your voice learned to soften into something smaller than truth, to keep a salary that was keeping you safe, but not keeping you whole. I saw the circle that loved your presence, as long as your convictions stayed quiet. The friend group where validation came, with the unspoken cost of shrinking your light. And I heard you pray to be useful, to be wholly mine, to be led into purpose. So I did not let you stay where purpose could not breathe. You begged to keep what would have kept you contained. I refused you what would have refused your calling. Beloved, hear me steady and kind. I am not cruel in the closing, I am careful. I do not withhold to prove a point, I withhold to preserve a promise. I closed a door not to impoverish you, but to stop the leak that was draining you. I ended a conversation not to embarrass you, but to end the slow eroding of your courage. I placed distance not to isolate you, but to detox your appetite from approval that would have trained you to perform for rooms I never called you to fill. Not a punishment, but a protection. Not a verdict, but a rescue route. Do not say, my life is being ruled by chaos, when I am authoring this chapter with a precise hand. You are not being led by chaos. You are being guided within a purposeful plan. All things work together for good to those who love me and are called according to my purpose. Romans 8:28. In their hearts humans plan their course, but I establish the steps. Proverbs 16:9. I have been arranging what seemed like miscommunications and mismatched timing so that your feet would not become cemented in a place that would have muted your name. Remember, child, your name does not come from environments that clap. It comes from the one who calls. I have called you by name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you. John 15:16. When you clutch the handle of a door I have closed, you are not holding fidelity, you are holding fear. Fear of being misunderstood, fear of scarcity, fear that my hand will not be as tangible as the paycheck, the partner, the platform, but I go before you into rooms where your heart can breathe. I walk beside you when your hands are empty and learning a new grip. I stand behind you, not allowing shame to shove you back into what I just saved you from. Let go. Let me write the next line without you editing the last one into a prison. Consider what I was protecting you from. I guarded you from agreements you would have signed with your silence. I shielded you from a culture where ambition eats intimacy with me and numbers pretend to be fruit. I kept you from a companionship that would have loved your potential but resented your purpose. I rescued you from the erosion of Sabbath, from the numbness that comes when coping replaces communion, from settling for a narrative that makes you palatable but not powerful. I am the shepherd who sees the cliff before your foot can. My rod and my staff, they comfort you, sometimes by guiding, sometimes by blocking, sometimes by closing a gate so wolves cannot wander in and you cannot wander out. Not exile, but exodus. Do you remember how you started to apologize for parts of you I crafted on purpose? How you laughed smaller, dreamed safer, edited prayers into something others would approve? I closed the door to stop the bargain you were making with fear. I pulled you out so I could pull you together. What I protect you from externally, I also rebuild within you internally. I am reconstructing your boundaries so generosity does not mean martyrdom. I am recalibrating your ears to hear my whisper over the clamor of consensus. I am reteaching your heart to receive identity as a gift, not a grade. I am bending your preferences toward obedience so that peace does not depend on applause. I am widening your capacity to carry what I am about to entrust so that the weight of tomorrow's blessing will not crush today's bones. Beloved child, this is what mercy looks like up close. It disrupts the drip of slow compromise. It ends arrangements that feel familiar but keep you small. It exposes the leak and then seals it. It takes the keys you would have used to lock yourself into less. Not discipline that shames, but discipline that shapes. Not scarcity, but making space. Not subtraction, but sacred subtraction that prepares for measured addition. You say, but it was good. I know. Some good must end to make room for appointed. Some good becomes a ceiling. I am building you for windows. You say, but it was mine. Child, nothing you relinquish at my word is lost. It is planted. Unless a seed falls into the ground and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. I prune branches that bear fruit so they may bear more. John 15. Closed doors and careful cuts come from the same love. Trust the pattern. When you could not see the meetings that would have ensnared you, I saw them. When you could not feel the subtle bend of your soul toward pleasing, I felt it. When you counted the cost of leaving and came up short, I counted the cost of keeping you there and came up generous with a better way. I am not late and I am not experimenting. I am precise. I am faithful. I am for you and I am forming you. So allow the door to stay closed without narrating it as your failure. Let the silence become a sanctuary where I rewrite your reflexes. Practice answering to my name for you when no one else calls. Eat bread you did not bake by hustling, bread I provide when you rest. If a memory stings, bring it into the light of this truth. I saved you there. Say it with me, not abandonment but rescue, not loss but release, not demotion but direction, not rejection but redirection. Let that refrain wash the corners of your mind where panic would still like to live. You are not the product of chance. You are an intention shaped from eternity, and I intend to finish what I start. Philippians 1 echoes this, and your days will echo it too. I will not deliver you from a lesser thing only to leave you empty. I deliver to develop. The same hand that closed the door is the hand that now strengthens your grip for the next key. The same voice that said, "No more here," is the voice that says, "Now there." The same love that protected you from what would have cost you your calling is the love that will prepare you to carry what I am giving next, without compromise. Take heart, beloved. Do not rush. There is no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. Hold the lamp. Take the next faithful step when I nudge it into view. And as you move, know this with a steadiness deeper than explanation. I go before you. I walk beside you. I stand behind you. The door that closed was mercy, and mercy has momentum. It is carrying you into rooms where your name will not need to be defended, and your calling will not need to be negotiated. I am protecting and I am preparing, and both are love. Beloved child, I see the nights when your thoughts do not ask permission before they speak, when the room goes quiet and your mind grows loud, when bills on the table feel like a verdict and the empty chair at dinner sits like a witness. I hear the spiral that starts with a small, honest question, "What did I do wrong?" and becomes a courtroom where you stand accused by your own memories. I see the sting when you scroll past the lives that seem to sprint while yours sits in a waiting room. I feel the heat of humiliation in your chest when you must answer, "It ended," and you do not know how to explain the rest. without handing people ammunition against your courage. I know the loneliness that can shadow even a crowded room, the way you rehearse conversations in bed, the way you bargain with me in whispers, promising perfection if only I will rewind the tape. Hear me. I am not absent from this ache. I am in it with you. I go before you into mornings that tempt you to dread. I walk beside you when your hands tremble opening the mail. I stand behind you when shame tries to shove you back into what I have already called you out of. But child, do not mistake this furnace for a firing squad. You are not being punished. You are being refined. Fire in my hands does not devour identity. It delivers it from mixture. As it is written, when he has tested me, I shall come forth as gold. Job 23:10. You feel the heat because I am turning up purity, not because I am burning you away. The edges that snag you, pride, people-pleasing, fear of lack, the impulse to control, cannot travel where I am taking you, and the way I free you from them is not with shame, but with sanctifying flame. The testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1:3. Perseverance is not a sentence. It is strength training for destiny. I am not pressing you down. I am adding weight in love so the muscle of your trust will hold the future I have prepared. Your weakness does not disqualify you in this season. It is the very doorway through which my power enters. My power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. You feel fragile, but fragile does not mean failing. Fragile means the shell has thinned so that light can break through. I know the places you would label not enough, and I am choosing them as the sites of my construction. Where your self-reliance has cracked, I am pouring the concrete of dependence. Where your strategies have run dry, I am teaching you to drink from the river that makes glad the city of God. Do not despise your tremble. Bring your tremble into obedience. Strength will meet you there. Consider the seed, beloved. When it disappears beneath soil, the untrained eye calls it burial, but I call it planting. The dark is not a coffin, it is a womb. Roots go down before shoots rise up. Desire is pressed into earth not to be suffocated, but to be strengthened in secret, to anchor against winds it has not yet met. So it is with you. I have tucked you into a hiddenness that does not flatter your need to be seen, but fulfills your need to be formed. If you were lifted too soon, your roots would tear in the first storm. So I am enlarging your unseen life, your honesty, your prayer, your listening, even when I whisper your willingness to be small, where I have not yet asked you to be large. I do not shout above the noise. I whisper within the quiet. Let the quiet do its kind work. And here again the mercy of pruning. Every branch that does bear fruit he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. John 15. Pruning is not punishment for fruit. It is proof there has been fruit. I remove what is good to make room for what is appointed. I cut not to wound your worth, but to lighten your limbs for harvest. The snip feels like loss. In my design, it is lift. Do not hold the branch against the gardener. Do not interpret the trimmed places as shame. See them as space. Space for breath, space for beauty, space for more. There has been a storm, and the storm has been honest. It found the hairline fractures in your foundation you could not see while the weather was calm. Do not curse the storm that told you the truth. Let it recruit you into strengthening the base. I am rebuilding you from footings to frame, not slapping paint over compromised beams. Pain is not your house collapsing. Pain is the sound of hammers constructing load-bearing character. Humility that cannot be flattered into foolishness. Discernment that can smell the difference between opportunity and trap. Compassion that does not perform but actually sits with the weeping. Authority that is not loud but is unmistakable. These do not come by accident or convenience. These are forged, and I am the smith who knows the heat each alloy needs. You say, but why must I be the one who learns the hard way? Child, I am entrusting to you what cannot be counterfeited, authority born of experience, not theory. I am fitting you to carry others through the very corridors you are walking now. Those you will comfort later are not theoretical. They are real people with bills, with betrayals, with beds that feel emptier at night. And I am cultivating in you a tenderness that refuses cliches and a strength that refuses panic. The God of all comfort, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive. 2 Corinthians, you know the verse. I am building the bridge in you now, so they will not drown later. This is preparation, beloved, not probation. I am not waiting for you to fail so I can catch you in a net of I told you so. I am waiting with you in fire so I can draw out what I planted from eternity. You are not the product of chance. You are an intention shaped from eternity, and intention requires capacity. New wine demands new wineskins. Otherwise the skin bursts and both are wasted. I will not waste you, and I will not waste what I pour. So I am softening what has grown brittle, stretching what has grown tight, healing what has grown thin. Let me. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. How then shall you live this week? Do not flee the flame I am using to free you. Stay near. Let perseverance finish its work, that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. James 1, you have heard it. Bring me your questions without disguise. Name the grief so it no longer rules in the shadows. Keep the small obediences that stoke trust. A quiet morning without the noise you use to numb you. A phone call to reconcile where I nudge you. A decision to bless those who misunderstood you rather than rehearse their faults. Hold the lamp I have placed in your hand. Take the next step. The light you need will meet you when your foot moves. I go before you into the forge, so you are never alone in the heat. I walk beside you when the metal sings and sparks fly. I stand behind you to keep accusation from rewriting this season as shame. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. You are not being reduced. You are being refined. You are not coming apart. You are coming forth. As gold, as vessel, as one who can carry what I am giving without spilling under pressure. Take heart, beloved child, breathe, let the fire do its good work. You are becoming the size of your assignment, and I am with you in every degree of heat until beauty and strength appear as plainly as day. Beloved child, let me take your hand and walk you through a life I wrote as a living parable for moments like this. Joseph, the dreamer whose path bent like a river yet arrived like an arrow. He carried a promise before he carried a position. He wore a coat before he wore a crown. He saw a glimpse, but he could not yet shoulder the weight, and so I led him by a road that felt like the opposite of what I had spoken. As it is written, he was betrayed, stripped, sold, accused, forgotten, yet never abandoned. Genesis 37-50 tells it plain. I go before you, I walk beside you, I stand behind you. So it was with him, so it is with you. He was a beloved son, and envy turned brothers into conspirators. A pit opened where a table should have been. The garment that marked him as favored became the proof waved to justify harm. I saw the dust on his face in that cistern. I heard the thud of rejection as ropes were traded for coins. Innocence does not always prevent injustice, beloved, but I am not absent in that ache. I numbered every step on the road to Egypt. The caravan that carried him away also carried him toward. Not exile, but exit, not deletion, but direction. In Potiphar's house, where he had no vote in his assignment, character met opportunity underground. What looked like a demotion was the classroom where he learned the language of leadership when no one was cheering. He served with excellence in a context he did not choose. He practiced stewardship without a stage, integrity without applause. He told the truth to temptation and lost status for keeping his soul. How could I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Genesis 39:9. Mark this with care, child. Character before platform. Integrity when unseen. Wisdom formed through suffering. Leadership forged in limitation. This is the hidden curriculum I teach those I trust with influence. Then came false accusation. Another coat seized and twisted into a narrative that fit the accuser's need. Prison bars closed where promotion seemed due. I know how your heart clenches when the story turns unjust again, when kindness is paid with confinement, when the reward for honesty seems like isolation. But even there, he was not lost to me. The Lord was with Joseph and showed him steadfast love, and whatever he did, the Lord made it succeed. Genesis 39 speaks it. Success did not look like escape. It looked like favor in a limited place. He became a steward of a cell before he became a steward of a nation. Until the time that his word came to pass, the word of the Lord tested him. Psalm 105:19. The testing was not to break him, it was to brace him. Dreams entered the prison, the cupbearer, the baker, each bearing a puzzle that matched Joseph's gift. Notice the pattern. I brought to his confinement the very arena that would one day place him before a king. He interpreted faithfully and asked only to be remembered, and he was forgotten. 2 years of echo in a room with no windows. Do you hear me naming your waiting? I do not minimize the sting of delay, but even the forgetfulness of others becomes a tool in my hands. I was not late, I was exact. There was a famine ripening on a clock he could not see. I was aligning a calendar he did not control. Then, at the appointed time, Pharaoh dreamed. Panic flooded the palace, and memory woke up in a cupbearer's throat. Joseph was summoned, shaved, dressed, and stood where he could not have networked his way, and listened to his first words when offered the spotlight. It is not in me. God will give Pharaoh the answer. Genesis 41:16. Humility had replaced haste. Clarity had been formed in the dark. He spoke wisdom, not as a man intoxicated with arrival, but as one anchored by process. In a moment he moved from prisoner to prime minister, from overlooked to entrusted, from hidden to heralded. But understand, the promotion only made visible what I had been forming invisible. Famine came as prophesied, and the very brothers who sold him bowed unknowingly before the brother who could now feed them. Power entered his hands, and he used it to save, not to score. Tears washed out revenge. Reconciliation triumphed over retaliation, and Joseph named the truth without denying the pain. You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to save many alive. Genesis 50:20. Not denial, but reframe. Not forgetting, but forgiving. Not erasing wounds, but wielding them as wells for others. So it is with you. The detour has not deleted your destiny. It has developed it. The pit places, the sold seasons, the rooms where your name was misused, the jobs where your excellence felt invisible, the phone calls that never came back, the nights you could count the bars of limitation by memory. All of these are not wasted in my economy. I was weaving even what you did not choose. All things work together for good to those who love me and are called according to my purpose. Romans 8:28. Do not mistake together for instantly, and do not misread good as easy. Together means orchestration. Good means aligned with glory and deliverance, yours and others. Beloved child, what feels like a setback may be the training ground for stewardship. I am teaching you budgets in small rooms so you can hold generosity in large ones. I am training your tongue to bless when misread, so you can speak life with authority when many listen. I am shaping your reflex to seek me before you speak, so that when the microphone arrives, my wisdom flows and not mere opinion. The prison disciplines became the palace decisions. The private boundaries became the public backbone. The unseen yes became the seen authority. So it is with you. What do I do now, today in the aftermath, you ask? Do what Joseph did in every room I placed him. Be faithful with what is in your hand, even if it is not what you hoped to hold. Keep your integrity when no one is watching. Say no to shortcuts that feed your fear. Serve where you stand. Make the small system flourish under your care. Tend your gift in confinement. Read, study, ask me for wisdom. Practice in the shadows so skill is ready when the light arrives. Guard your tongue from bitterness. Speak blessing over those who forgot you. Forgiveness keeps your hands open for future provision. Share your gift to lift others even if it does not lift you today. Interpret someone else's dream while you wait for yours to unfold. Build altars of gratitude. Mark my nearness with thanks in the ordinary, and when I nudge a simple, clear step, take it. My word is a lamp to your feet, not a floodlight to your horizon. Psalm 119, 105. Light will meet the moving foot. Hear me again, tender and firm. I go before you into the places where your name will be called in due time. I walk beside you in rooms that feel too small, expanding your heart to fit the future. I stand behind you, covering your back so accusation cannot rewrite the meaning of this detour. You are not late. You are being led. You are not disqualified. You are being qualified. Detours do not delete destiny. Often they develop it. Breathe, beloved child. Keep your yes warm. Keep your hands clean. Keep your lamp lifted. The route that feels like delay is already bending into deliverance for you and for many who will eat bread at your table when the famine comes. Beloved child, listen. I do not hand you the whole map. I place a lamp in your hand. The light I give you is not designed to flood the horizon and remove the need for trust. It is designed to touch the ground right where your foot will land next. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119, 105. I go before you to prepare what the next step will meet. I walk beside you so your courage has company. I stand behind you so yesterday's fear does not pull you back by the sleeve. I will not tease you with riddles. I will teach you with rhythm. Step, light, step, light, step, light. Here is the rhythm I am giving you now, a simple framework for the next faithful movement of your life. First, be still long enough to hear. Second, release what I ended. Third, respond to the next instruction I bring. Do not try to perfect 10 steps. Practice this one obedience 3 ways. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. Trust in me with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge me, and I will direct your paths. Proverbs 3, 5-6. First, be still long enough to hear. Child, I do not shout above the noise. I whisper within the quiet. When Elijah wrung out to the mountain, wind tore the rocks, earthquake shook the ground, fire blazed like spectacle, but I was not in the commotion. Then came a sound like a gentle whisper, a still small voice, and there I spoke. 1 Kings 19. Be still long enough for my whisper to become weight in you. Choose a morning when your phone stays face down. Your worries are named once and set at my feet, and your attention remains even when nothing dramatic seems to happen. Make room for me to place a sentence in your spirit, a nudge that does not bully, a peace that does not need a paragraph to explain itself. Wait until the water stills enough for you to see the reflection of my face. Second, release what I ended. Open your hands. Do not try to drag yesterday's furniture into tomorrow's room. Grief is allowed. Clutching is not. Say aloud with me what you are laying down. I release the title I no longer carry. I forgive the person who could not go with me. I bless the season that fed me and now is finished. I renounce the fear that says I will lack. This is not theatrics, this is surgery. You cannot hold a lamp and a locked door at the same time. As you release, shame loosens its claims, narratives untangle, and space appears for my next instruction to land. Not abandonment, but redirection. Not punishment, but pruning. Not scarcity, but making space for appointed provision. Third, respond to the next instruction I bring. Do not wait for fireworks. Look for the simple, clear, doable nudge that matches my character and the wisdom of my word. The next step may be small, one application you have delayed because fear keeps editing your resume into silence. One boundary you state kindly but firmly so your soul can breathe. One apology that humbles you but frees you. One morning of prayer you guard as if it were oxygen. One conversation with counsel you trust. One act of generosity that refuses the lie of lack. One resignation you deliver without bitterness. One class you enroll in. One journal page you finally write. One walk in the quiet where you practice hearing me again. Obedience over overthinking. Light meets the moving foot. You say, I feel unready, underqualified, too late, too wounded. Beloved, I know. You see gaps. I see a gateway. I call what I equip, and I equip what I call. I do not wait for the polish to invite them into purpose. I polish those I invite. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. Where you feel unready, I am already at work. Where you fear you missed your window, I am Lord of time. Where you feel wounded, I am binding you in such a way that your scar will become a signpost for the hurting. Do not disqualify what I have not disqualified. Do not pronounce too late over a story I am actively writing. Hear me again in kindness and command. I go before you into the hallway you cannot yet see. I walk beside you as you take the quietly courageous step that no one on the outside may applaud. I stand behind you, guarding you from the shove of urgency that would make you sprint without me. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, you will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. My guidance is not fragile, it is faithful. It is not loud, it is lasting. You will not need to manufacture a sign. You will need to notice my sentence. I rarely reveal the entire route because the entire route would recruit your control. I give you the next step because trust is the bridge to the future you crave. Where you crave a floodlight that removes the need for me, I give you a lamp that keeps you close. Keep close. Keep moving. Remember, in their hearts, humans plan their course, but I establish the steps. Proverbs 16:9. If you take a step with a sincere heart, and it needs correction, I will adjust you. I am better at leading than you are at missing me. Practice this today in small, holy ways. Clear a surface, light a candle, and say out loud, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening." Put a time on your calendar for stillness and guard it like a meeting that decides the future, because it does. Empty a drawer of old papers that keep you anchored to titles that no longer fit. Write the apology and send it before fear edits it to death. Submit the application even if your hands tremble. Decline the invitation that trains you to betray your boundaries. Turn off the stream that numbs your sensitivity to my whisper. Set aside the first minutes of your morning to read the sentence I highlight and carry it like bread through the day. Be faithful with today's inch. Tomorrow's mile will find you because you are already moving in the right direction. Do not despise the monotony of one small obedience repeated. Brick by brick builds a house that stands in storm. Seed by seed fills a field. Step by step crosses a wilderness. You will look back and see that what felt like inching was actually being carried by a faithful hand. Do not measure progress only by scenery. Measure it by surrender. Did you be still long enough to hear? Did you release what I ended? Did you respond to the next instruction? This is the curriculum. This is how the lamp leads the feet. Breathe, beloved. Let your shoulders drop. Let anticipation replace anxiety. I am not hiding the path from you to punish you. I am walking the path with you to form you. Keep your yes warm. Keep your hands open. Keep your lamp lifted. Step forward even if your voice shakes. When you do, you will find what you have already begun to taste. Light meets the moving foot, and mercy meets the obedient heart. I go before you. I walk beside you. I stand behind you. Take the next step, and I will meet you there. Beloved child, now that the lamp is in your hand, we must talk about your grip. You are holding a page I have already finished writing on, and the ink of yesterday is smearing the margins of tomorrow. I know why you clutch it. The familiar can feel like safety when the hallway ahead is quiet. But hear me gently and firmly. The old page has ended. Do not keep rereading what I have concluded, or the new sentence I am speaking will arrive to a crowded table with no chair. Not a punishment, but a turning. Not rejection, but redirection. Not emptiness, but room. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not disqualified. You are not alone. Say it with me until your nervous system believes what your mouth speaks. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Jeremiah 1:5. I have called you by name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. I name you, child, not by your past roles, not by your last result, not by the opinion that still rings in your ears when the house gets quiet. Your identity is not a souvenir from the last season. It is a signature from eternity. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. 2 Corinthians 5:17. This is not religious embroidery. This is a boundary around your becoming. Let us name what must be released so your hands can breathe. Release comparison, the scrolling that steals your gratitude and trains you to measure destiny by someone else's highlight reel. It is a poor map for a path I tailored to your feet. Release nostalgia, the versions of the past you have polished until they shine brighter than they ever were, making the present feel like a downgrade. Memory is a gift. Idolatry of memory is a chain. Release bitterness, the acid that whispers power while corroding your capacity to love. Forgive to be free. Your forgiveness does not agree with harm. It agrees with healing. Release self-blame, the courtroom where you both prosecute and sentence yourself day after day. Confess what is yours, release what is not, and leave the gavel in my hand. Release the idol of what could have been, that golden calf of imagined outcomes you worship in secret, the alternate timeline you visit to punish my providence. It is a mirage that keeps you thirsty while the river runs at your feet. Stop revisiting doors I closed. Do not keep driving by old addresses with your heart, rehearsing conversations to prove yourself to people no longer assigned to your future. Do not keep refreshing threads that bind you to what I have finished. Do not keep knocking where the latch was sealed in mercy. I am not teasing you with absence. I am training you for presence. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Isaiah 43:18-19. To forget here is not amnesia. It is refusal to let yesterday be the narrator of your now. Beloved, hear the boundary wrapped in blessing. Forgive to be free. Bless what ended. And stop returning to the scene to collect residual approval. Bless the manager who could not see you. Bless the friend who outgrew what you could carry together. Bless the plan that produced fruit and then rightfully finished. Bless the place that fed you and now releases you. Bless even the mistakes, not by renaming them wise, but by thanking me for how I am weaving them into wisdom. Bless, and I will unhook the barbs that keep catching your heart on old fences. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. Psalm 34:18. I am too close to let your wounds become your address. This release is not emptiness, it is capacity. When you open your hands, I place tools for the assignment into your palms. Discernment where suspicion used to live. Compassion where cynicism stood guard. Clarity where confusion nested. The page I am writing next requires margin, and margin is made by saying a holy no to what once felt essential. Child, you cannot carry yesterday's furniture into tomorrow's room and still have space to dance. Make space. Let me rearrange. Let me remove a chair that taught you to shrink. Let me bring a table big enough for those I am sending you to feed. You ask, who am I without that title, without that relationship, without that steady plan? You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. You are chosen, not by the vote of a committee, but by the counsel of heaven. John 15:16 whispers under your breath, even now, you did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit. You are not your former success. You are not your last failure. You are not the rumors they told themselves to make leaving feel righteous. You are a new creation in process, a vessel being reformed on a wheel that obeys my touch. What you once called brokenness, I see as stones intentionally set to bear new weight. The names shame gave you do not pass the border of this chapter. Leave them at the gate. How do you release in practice? Put it in your mouth and in your muscle. Say aloud, I release comparison. I bless my unique path. Unfollow the voices that ignite envy and restore the ones that stir faith. Say, I release nostalgia. I receive grace for now. Pack the box with mementos that keep reopening the wound and place them where they cannot narrate your mornings. Say, I forgive. Write the name. Bless them not because they were right, but because I am redeeming. Say, I release self-blame. I receive mercy. Tear up the private spreadsheets where you calculated worth by performance. Say, I renounce the idol of what could have been. Close the tabs of imagination that keep you from living the life I am actually giving you. Then turn your face to me and ask for the sentence I am writing today and carry it like bread. I go before you into rooms that fit who you are becoming rather than who you were performing to be. I walk beside you as you feel the lightness and the unfamiliarity of hands unburdened. I stand behind you when voices from the past try to subpoena you back into roles I have retired. Stand your ground with gentleness. This ended, and I bless it. I am walking forward. I will honor that boundary. I will fill that space. Beloved child, releasing the old page is not a betrayal of gratitude. It is obedience to growth. It is how you agree with me that the author is not done. Lift the hinge of your heart. Turn the paper with me. The sentence you have been waiting for cannot be written on a sheet glued to yesterday. Let go. Let me write. And as you do, you will discover this holy exchange. The ache of release will become the air of assignment. The room where grief once sat will become a table where others find bread. And the name I speak over you, mine, will settle you enough to carry new ink without smearing. Step forward, even if your voice shakes. The page is turning under my hand. Beloved child, with your hands now open, receive what I have long prepared to place there. I am not merely mending you to return you to where you were. I am forming you into a vessel through whom what I have poured will flow. The healing I am working in you is not only for you. It is for the ones whose names you do not yet know, for the rooms you have not yet entered, for the cries that rise in the night and will find their answer through your yes. You have been comforted in your sorrow. Now your comfort will become someone else's lifeline. As it is written, I am the Father of mercies and the God of all comfort, who comforts you in all your tribulation, so that you may be able to comfort those who are in any trouble, with the comfort you yourselves have received from me. 2 Corinthians 1:4. This is how I turn wounds into windows and tears into rivers. Hear me. What ended in your life is becoming authority in your hands. Where shame tried to name you, I am giving you language that liberates others. Where confusion once swirled, I am placing clarity that calms storms. Where you felt abandoned, I am baptizing you in my nearness so deeply that your very presence will stabilize rooms. You are not being repurposed as a consolation prize. You are being commissioned as a conduit. You are not just surviving, you are being sent. So let me tell you how your redirection becomes a doorway for many. You who tasted betrayal will mentor the young heart, learning to steward trust. Your scars will become a syllabus in discernment and compassion, teaching them how to set holy boundaries without hardening into bitterness. You who walked through loss will speak as an advocate in the gates. You will comfort the grieving, navigate practical mercies, organize meals, shift systems that ignore the brokenhearted, and become a quiet force that insists the overlooked be seen. You who were displaced from a position will rise as a builder. You will pioneer teams with integrity, create workplaces with Sabbath in their bones, champion just rhythms, and lead not by clinging to titles but by carrying people. You whose relationship collapsed will apprentice others in prayer. You will host intercession where the ache once echoed. Teach conversations with me that do not manipulate but yield, and you will help others love without losing themselves. And beyond these, I will multiply your story into assignments you could not script. The parent who thought hope had closed will become a midwife to dreams. The artist whose audience vanished will curate spaces where others find their voice. The teacher who wept over a closed door will tutor those who were never invited. Nothing wasted, everything woven. Beloved child, you stand at a threshold. The ache has not been for nothing. It has been for an appointment. You are approaching a divine appointment, and you cannot return to what was before, because you are becoming. The seed has split. It cannot go back to being a seed. The clay has yielded. It cannot pretend it was never on the wheel. Obedience has lifted its head within you, and to return would be to deny the shape your heart has taken under my hand. I am not pushing you with panic. I am drawing you with purpose. Everything is not yet visible, but the commissioning is real. Listen to how I speak this over you now, gently and with authority. I go before you into conversations where your story will unlock someone else's cage. I walk beside you when your voice trembles and your knees remember the fall, steadying your breath so peace has time to rise. I stand behind you when accusation whispers you are unqualified, covering your back with the testimony of my faithfulness. I am placing in you a word that heals without flattery, a wisdom that guides without control, a courage that moves without spectacle. Do not measure your usefulness by applause. Measure it by obedience. Do not wait for a spotlight. Become a lamp for weary feet. I appoint your mouth to speak comfort that carries weight, not platitudes that evaporate. I anoint your hands to build, to bless, to bind up, to write sentences that set free. I train your eyes to see the one in the corner, whose silent grief waits for a nod of recognition. I tune your ear to my whisper so that you do not confuse urgency for leading, numbers for fruit, noise for anointing. I give you tears that are not weakness but water for the soil you are sent to tend. This is not punishment dressed as purpose. This is purpose refined through what tried to punish you. You ask, where do I begin? Begin where I have already poured comfort into you. Go to the place where you once prayed for a witness and be that witness. If you were betrayed, gather 2 or 3 younger ones and teach them to discern love from flattery, covenant from convenience, then model forgiveness that keeps boundaries. If you were displaced, offer your skill to a startup of goodness, mentor someone writing a first resume, build a process that dignifies people. If you grieved, start a small table where story and soup meet. Write the note that would have saved you a night of aloneness. Organize mercy with excellence. If your heart broke, bring your intercession to a mourning that covers others' vulnerabilities. Adopt a name to pray for until peace visits their house. 1 step, 1 person, 1 faithful flow. Remember, I do not require you to be perfect. I require you to be willing. There is no need to rush, no need to perform for worth, only to agree with me in humility and move. Do not shrink back because you feel unready. Your readiness is the mercy you received. Do not disqualify yourself because you still ache at times. The ache is your empathy. Do not stall because the map is partial. My lamp will meet your next step, and when you take that step, you will discover that your very history is now your harvest. As it is written, go and make disciples of all nations. Matthew 28:19. And again, the God of all comfort comforts us, so that we can comfort those. 2 Corinthians 1:4. This is the shape of your sending. You are not a collector of experiences. You are a steward of grace. You carry within you something the world around you needs. Patient presence, clean counsel, steady hope. You are a flow, not a reservoir. Let what I have given move through you, and you will never run dry. Hear my commissioning as a seal over your heart. You are my appointed one for this lane of healing. You are my witness that endings can become altars, that detours can become deliverance routes, that ashes can nourish gardens. You are no longer only the one who survives. You are the one who supplies. You will comfort the way you were comforted. You will bless the way you were blessed. You will lead the way I led you through the dark. You will not carry yesterday into tomorrow's assignment. You will carry my presence into every room. Now, beloved child, step forward, even if your voice shakes. I go before you. I walk beside you. I stand behind you. Your next step is your yes, and I will meet you there. You are commissioned, not by accident, but by intention from eternity. Lift your lamp, open your mouth, extend your hand. Someone's midnight is about to become morning because you decided to move with me. Beloved child, hear me again so your heart can rest in the truth I have been speaking from the beginning. What you called an ending, I called a redirection. Not punishment, but repositioning. Not rejection, but realignment into the lane I formed for your feet. I was there when it closed, and I am here as it opens. I go before you into what is next. I walk beside you as you take the step you fear, and I stand behind you so the old ache cannot drag you back by the sleeve. So let this be the seal over your season. You are being guided, not graded. You are being moved, not dismissed. You are being refined, not reprimanded. Because this is true, here is my gentle but firm command. Step forward even if your voice shakes. Your next step is your yes, and I will meet you there. Do not wait until you feel invincible. Do not delay until your trembling disappears. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. Trust precedes clarity. Obedience opens what understanding cannot. As with Abram, I called go, and the map unfolded as he walked. Genesis 12:1. So it is with you. Within the next 24 hours, practice one concrete act of obedience with me. Choose one and do not negotiate it away. Sit quietly for 15 unhurried minutes and say, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening," and write the sentence I place within you. Or write a release letter, name what ended, bless it, forgive where needed, and lay it on the table before me, then tear it as an offering of closure. Or submit the application you have edited to death and trust me with outcome. Or put a boundary in words you can speak kindly and firmly, "This ended and I bless it, I am walking forward." Or reconcile where I lead you, one apology offered without excuses, one forgiveness entrusted to me. Or unsubscribe, unfollow, and remove what pulls you back into rooms I have closed. Or schedule the counsel you have postponed and keep the appointment as if your future depends on your honesty, because it does. Or take the seed in your hand and give it, generosity that tells fear it does not govern you. Or open a clean page and outline the first 3 steps of the assignment I have whispered, not the whole plan, just the next faithful inch. 1 step, 1 yes, 1 opening for grace to flow. Beloved, you say, but what if I misstep? Hear me. I am better at leading than you are at missing me. If correction is needed, I will adjust you without shaming you. My guidance is not fragile, it is faithful. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, you will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. Expect the confirmation that comes while walking, peace that carries weight, counsel that aligns, scripture that rises unbidden like a signpost, doors that open with rightful ease and doors that close with merciful firmness. Do not worship signs, follow my sentence. I go before you, I walk beside you, I stand behind you. Hold this paradox as your posture. Be still and go forward. Still your heart, move your feet. At the water's edge, I said, "Stand firm and see." And then I said, "Tell the people to go forward." Exodus 14:15. Stillness anchors you in my presence. Forward motion agrees with my instruction. Do not confuse anxiety with energy or paralysis with prudence. Be still enough to hear. Be brave enough to move. The lamp I place in your hand shines on the next step, not the whole horizon, and that is mercy. It keeps you close. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. Let these words settle your breathing. You are not late. You are right on time for what I have appointed. You are not empty. You are being trimmed to carry more oil. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. You are not alone. I am with you in the in-between. The hallway between doors, the pause between prayers and answers, the quiet between goodbye and hello. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but I establish the steps. Proverbs 16:9. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not delay small obediences. The mountain moves one faithful shovel of surrender at a time. And to the fear that whispers you must present perfection to begin, I answer you with finality. There is no need to rush, no need to be perfect, only to be sincere and willing. My grace is sufficient. My power finds its full expression where you feel weakest. 2 Corinthians 12:9. Bring me your tremble and let me turn it into traction. Bring me your quiet yes and watch it become a path beneath your feet. So, beloved child, here is how we will close, not with a vague intention, but with a living instruction. Name aloud the step you will take in the next 24 hours. Put it on your calendar, set an alarm, prepare what you need, and tell someone who will pray you through it. When the moment arrives, breathe, say my name, and step. If your voice shakes, let it shake in my presence. If your knees tremble, let them tremble on a path I have prepared. If tears come, let them water the ground you are crossing. I will meet you there. I will multiply the little you bring. I will confirm your going with quiet courage and steadying peace. I bless your feet to move with holy simplicity. I bless your hands to release what is done and receive what is next. I bless your eyes to notice the light at your toes rather than fear the shadows beyond your reach. I bless your heart to remain soft in a world that rewards hardness. Go in the strength you have, and you will discover it is more than enough because I am with you. Judges 6 echoes quietly, and it is true for you now. Thank you for listening to my heart today. If this word has steadied you, stay close to the flow, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss the next sentence I send. Share this encouragement with the one who needs bread tonight. Be still, go forward, step now, amen. Heat, 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 hey.